Corkscrew is the lone inverting coaster at Valleyfair. I cannot believe that statement is still accurate as of 2022, but that's the reality. But does this aero looper still ride well? Find out in this review of Corkscrew. Cedar Point opened their own coaster named Corkscrew in 1976. This aero looper was the first in the world to take riders upside down 3 times, and it adds a lot of energy to Cedar Point's midway. Valleyfair was the second Cedar Fair park, and when it was time to add a new roller coaster in 1980, they took inspiration from Cedar Point's Corkscrew. Valleyfair's Corkscrew have a nearly identical layout. Both rides stand 85 feet or 26 meters tall, and feature 3 inversions. The only difference between the two layouts is that Cedar Point's Corkscrew is a bunny hill after the first drop, while Valleyfair instead has a helix before the final brake run. Originally, Valleyfair's Corkscrew had the same blue paint scheme as its sister in Sandusky. It was only over the past decade the coaster has sported the orange and yellow paint job. I prefer the blue paint scheme myself, but I still love this ride's placement. I like how the pathways circle around the attraction, and parts of the ride were placed above water. Corkscrew is one of the closest coasters to Valleyfair's main entrance, so unsurprisingly, it tends to be one of the first rides people flock to. But by mid-afternoon, it usually is one of the shortest waits at Valleyfair, and has been a station wait in my 2 visits to the park. Both times I visited Valleyfair, Corkscrew is operated with both trains. Each train has 6 cars, seating up to 24 riders per train. The restraints are your familiar arrow over-the-shoulder restraints. Fortunately, I'm tall enough that my ears clear the top of the restraint. Smaller guests will have their head trapped in between the harness though, which can make them more susceptible to headbanging during the ride's transitions. As for where to sit, I don't have much of a preference on this coaster. It rides nearly identically throughout the train. Once dispatched, you turn out of the station and ascend the lift hill to the tune of those glorious aero anti-rollbacks. At the top, you head down the ride's first drop. Most aero looper drops give good ejector pops in the back, but this Corkscrew's drop is too shallow to do so. Next is the highlight of the ride, the Forceful vertical loop. You get good positive G's throughout the teardrop-shaped loop. You then slightly rise upwards. I thought this transition may give airtime, but it's too drawn out to do so. You then turn 180 degrees towards the ride's back-to-back corkscrews. These aren't the fastest aero corkscrews, so you get a faint bit of hang time in each of them. You then navigate a relatively sterile upwards helix into the final brake run. This element is pretty slow and it lacks the positives or laterals I typically look for in a helix. It just feels like it exists to pad the ride's length. You then hit the final brakes, ending the 1,950 foot or 590 meter long coaster. So what would I rate Valleyfair's Corkscrew? I would give this coaster a 4 out of 10. What was once a cutting-edge coaster in the early 1980s is unfortunately dated. The transitions aren't fluid like newer loopers, and the layout is pretty basic. However, this isn't as rough as some other arrows, and I do enjoy the 3 inversions, particularly the strong vertical loop. I just wish this ride had some of the airtime pops you can find in other arrow loopers for variety. I still find it hard to believe this is the only coaster at Valleyfair to take guests upside down. It really is baffling a nearly 50-year-old Cedar Fair park has not added another inversion-based coaster over the years. Hopefully the park can address this issue in the future. So those are my thoughts on Corkscrew at Valleyfair. What are your thoughts on this classic looper? Are you as surprised Valleyfair doesn't have another coaster that inverts guests? Let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.